inspiration from the best in the business. But before we move forward, I'd like to take a minute and express our deepest gratitude to our partners for helping us turn our vision into reality. Powered by Fusion PR and Kaizen. Before we move forward, requesting everybody's kind, undivided attention towards the big screen on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the partner AVs. Well, that's that. I'm certain throughout the day, all of us will find some or the other moment that is picture-worthy. Well, in case you're planning to post any of these pictures or any comments or videos related to today's event across any of your social media platforms, please do not forget to use the hashtag E4MPR Masterclass, hashtag E4MPR and Corp, and last but not the least, hashtag E4M Masterclass. Now, I might be an unfamiliar face up here trying to chat your ears off, but it's time for a familiar personality to give you all a warmer, happier welcome. Joining us on stage to deliver the inaugural session is the head strategy and business consultant at Exchange for Media. Please put your hands together for Mr. Karan Bhatia.
Hello everyone. Thank you to all the students for joining us. This is something we envisaged last 2 years ago, and then we thought, we should make it into a reality. So I've been personally going to some of the universities and the agencies and the communication fraternity, and there is a huge gap when the students are actually passing out of university and when they are actually joining the institute. The world is completely different out there. We thought to bridge that gap to create a platform which can actually help students in understanding the nuances of the industry, speaking to the peers, to the veterans, and understanding what are the key opportunities or challenges which lies ahead. We were just putting together, some of the statistics that the changing dynamics industry is suffering from major issues like talent issues, training opportunity, on-the-job skill set, which essentially is important for long-term survival. And now with the advent of AI, things are changing at a revolutionary pace. So to ensure that, students or the pass out of university get formal training with preferred skill sets, and agencies are able to, absorb this future talent without any issues, it's, of primary importance. So with that vision, this is the first edition we have launched, and we are so grateful to have some of the veterans which are revered and known in the industry. I personally have reached out to most of them. And we at Exchange for Media started the PR domain almost 19 years back, and with our prestigious flagship event called Indian Public Relations Corporate Communication Awards. And from last 6 years, no, probably 8 years now, we have been launching new initiative which holistically targets the industry, the education sector, the academicians, the students and everything. So it brings a complete 360 solution to the whole, PR landscape, which is need of the hour. So without taking much time, I would like to welcome you all, and I hope to see you again in our next edition. And I'm sure there'll be key takeaways when you go at the end of these sessions today. And do share your suggestions. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That was Mr. Karan Bhatia. Please do not shy away from offering your applauses. It's a simple procedure. All you gotta do is bring both of your palms together and we clap, right? Before we can begin with the first masterclass for the day, could I please encourage everyone to empty out their hands and stand for the next 30 seconds. Post-lunch sessions can be a little bit tricky since we've just had food, but we want to be in the best of our spirits, focused and concentrated for this particular session. Now for the next 30 seconds, I must encourage everyone to bring their palms together and offer a loud round of applause to everyone out there. And while you're doing that, make sure you breathe. Make sure you breathe. Louder, louder, louder. Better than that. Fantastic. Thank you very much. You all may kindly be seated. Thank you. Thank you. And let me assure you, this was not a ruse for me to get an applause for myself, but rather just a quick effort to get you out of your sleep and focused and ready for the first masterclass. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us on stage is the Managing Director, India and Head of Corporate Affairs, Asia Pacific at the Zeno Group. Please put your hands together for Mr. Abhishek Gulyani.
Thank you. Thank you, Sahibjeet, for all the energy that you brought in. I was going to do the same thing. Guys, can you hear me towards the end? Do you want to do an energy exercise again? Just a yes would be great. Are you all full of energy right now? Like a bigger yes, please. We're going to do an interactive exercise, not a presentation-led masterclass, so you'll all get to contribute in the session. And I'm going to try and finish it in 20 minutes so that it's on a speed dial, that what we do, right? What got me thinking, I have a 30-minute dialer here, but I want to finish it in 20 minutes. But it'll only be successful if you all participate in the session, right? Last week, I was traveling. We were in Delhi, Gurgaon, we went to Bangalore, we went to Mumbai, and there was a lot of conversation that was happening around the role AI is going to play in our lives. There are a lot of doubts, there are a lot of inputs, there's the future that's coming in. So I thought, why don't we kind of all come together and workshop and experiment what we all can together do and what the role of AI will be in our lives, right? So what I'm going to do is ask Anushweta, who's our talent lead at Zeno. Please say hello to Anushweta. She's right here. She's the most important person as you guys come out of colleges to reach out to. That's her. So she's going to pose up the first question, and then I'm going to come down and request you guys to input into it, and then go from there. So, do you think AI can support PR professionals? I'm going to come down. Anyone want to raise their hand? Yes or no? Yes. Do you think AI can support PR? There's a yes coming from there. There's a no comment here. AI can support PR professionals? Yes or no? Yes. Yes. A bigger yes or a bigger no? Yes, sir. Yes. So there's a yes coming all the way, right? So let's do an experiment. what we're going to do is divide you guys into groups of 4, or maybe just 4 groups. So the bigger groups, 1, that's group A, group 1. You guys have, someone has ChatGPT there on your phone? Yes, sir. Right. ChatGPT. 2, any other groups with ChatGPT? Group 2, group 3, and is there a group 4 somewhere? Right, so 2 of you can join this group and become group 4. Right? So group 1 was this, group 2, group 3, and group 4, right? So group 1, your brief's coming up. Note this brief, take a picture, group 1. You're going to launch a pen. Your audience is aspiring writers, journalists, and creative professionals. This is all imaginary stuff, right? And your company is launching a luxury pen designed for storytellers. Task is, how will you position this pen for the writers? What story elements would you do? And how will you engage influencers, media, and customers emotionally? 4 key things that you need to put in is, you need to give a data and insight to it. You need to have a storytelling to it, have some ideas in it, and then 4th is, how are you going to measure it? And I want you to use ChatGPT to create a presentation for this, right? Group 2, that's your brief coming up now. You're launching a Comm, so think of a nice name, right? Young professionals, individuals preparing for important life moments. Your company is launching a stylish ergonomic comb that promises to be a confidence booster. So there are the 3 questions that you need to answer here. Where's group 3? Group 3, your brief's coming up now. The watch, Timekeeper X. You can think of your own names also if you want, if you think you can come up with an interesting name, right? So we're targeting entrepreneurs, business leaders, and professionals who value productivity. And then there is a company launching a sleek, smart, but classic wristwatch that represents time management and success. You've got it, group 3, and now we're going to group 4. All right, you've got the mirror, right? So it's going to reflect wellness and self-care enthusiasts. You're launching a mirror designed not just for reflection, but as a self-care tool helping people pause, breathe, and practice affirmations, right? You've understood the 4 tasks you have to cover, right? So all of you've got ChatGPT with you, right? Okay, now the interesting part is you'll all get 5 minutes to prepare this. Just 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes, you have to prepare it, and after the 5 minutes, I'll come to you guys, and each one of you have to present within a minute. Right? So what you found out, right? And then we'll open it up, right? So let's see, let's have some fun with this. In the meantime, when these groups are preparing for presentations, here is some interesting tasks for everyone. I'd request all of you to scan this and start live typing what are the top 3 areas where you think AI can support PR professionals. Please, can I request the rest of the folks who are in the room to start scanning this, scan this barcode, and start writing any areas that you think AI can support PR professionals now. Does anybody want to speak, or you guys are doing it? Is something coming up? (2:18), we come up with the first presentation at 2:23. All right, the first participant is typing. First participant is typing. We're still waiting. Oh, strategies, crisis, data, marketing, analysis, communication. What else is coming up? Wow. Create proposals, presentations. What else? Are there more things that can come up? Like, how can it help your life immediately? If you were to get into the PR field, what are the kind of things that it can do for you? What about basic stuff like press release? Can it help you draft your first draft of press release? Please stress on the word first draft, not the final draft that goes to the client. First draft. Oh, wow. So it's now creating a cloud. So marketing is obviously coming up first. Press article, research is coming up first. Does anybody want to comment on this? Or does anybody want to speak? Anybody from the group wants to make a point? Raise your hand. Anybody? Any thoughts? Is that going in the right direction? Do you think research is going to be the most important aspect of AI support that can come for PR professionals? Does everybody agree? Press article, strategies. Is anyone using AI right now? I mean, generally, what are the areas? How does it help you?
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I've been using it pretty effectively. I put lots of stuff in it and give very specific instructions. It crunches and summarizes it for me. Having said that, it's not idiot-proof. There is a certain level of degree of experience that I have that helps me evaluate if it's enhanced something or dumbed it down for me. So I've been using it in a lot of proposal creation. A lot of mundane stuff is taken care of by AI, for me at least.
Any other comments, guys? Anyone else? Is it helping you guys, Ritika? AI? Are you doing your stories out of AI? The one that appears online is AI read? Any comments? How much is AI helping you?
I think in terms of research, it's helpful, but not exactly, because you can also add wrong information in AI and it can store as it is. It won't proofread it for you, or it can give a lot of misinformation. So I think it's not that much of a reliable source like currently.
Right, so I think the key element is the fact that there is mundane work that can be done. It cannot proofread for you, and there can be a lot of misinformation in it. So it's important for you guys to note that when you are when you're using AI, to be very careful. Any other inputs anywhere?
Yeah, you can really train it also. I'm sorry, can I take that kind of stuff? You can really, what's been working for me, and I'll come there and speak to the room. What's been really working for me, I host this podcast called the Wiki Podcast, and now I've done 11 episodes. Now I've trained it to give me a LinkedIn post, trained it to give me a description. I've trained it to do all my job because it's learning what I like. Because every time I correct it and fix it further, now it knows what Garima likes and what's Garima's style of writing and how can I really add nuances to it. So it's also about, you may not like the first draft, but it's really a free intern. You can keep who doesn't get tired. So again and again and again, feed and upskill.
Guys, everyone knows who's not joining Garima. Free intern. Right? Any other inputs, guys, for that table? You have an input to add? You're using AI? Is it helping?
Thank you, sir. Here I face a lot of the problem illusion with whenever using the AI. That is, the references are how much correct. Now we are facing a lot of in the AI, whenever you're going to put the prompt and then get all the data from that particular AI. There was a mention some references, but whenever you open that references, they are not correlated with that particular topics and that sentence and also and all. So how can we rely on that AI is doing in proper way and all? So my thought is that I could not have faith on that particular AI and all, because many more writers become the authors and all with the help of the AI, but they are using a lot of the references over there, but they are not correlated with that particular stanza and graph and that chapters and also. So these are a major problem with the AI.
Referencing is a challenge, but that could also be because of the fact that the area pickups that it's doing is very restricted. It's not kind of going vast into it, and maybe that's the area that will evolve. Yeah, of course.
One thing which is very challenging, we as a teacher facing that, it's damaging the creativity of the young budding people. It's a big challenge for us, because every time, anytime when you ask them to do something, they keep on, ChatGPT. So it's like killing the creativity, the idea that is there, the entire process gets killed. That's the thing.
So, and we've been kind of discussing this quite a bit. There has to be a human touch to what we create, right? So it could be creativity, but you need to come through this. Guys, we're time up on the presentation, so I'll leave it for you to decide. Do you want to hear group 1, group 2, group 3, or group 4 first? Group 3. So group 3 comes up first. Do you guys want to come here or present from there? Or you've been chosen? All right. Come. Guys, please, everyone has to listen in, right? Because the idea is to also then towards the end think about everything that everybody said.
A very warm good afternoon.
1 minute.
Okay, so for group 3, we have decided that we will be introducing Timekeeper X, the watch for achievers. Who is it for? It's for entrepreneurs, it's for business leaders, and it's for professional. What makes it special? It's a symbol of time management and success. It combines sleek aesthetics with a classic touch, making it a must-have for everyone. And how will we launch it? So we will position it, we will associate Timekeeper X with achievement, discipline, and legacy. We will have a memorable launch by partnering with top entrepreneurs like my favorite entrepreneur, Nikhil Kamath, hosting elite business events and leveraging powerful storytelling. Moreover, we will create impactful messaging where our campaign will emphasize on ambition, precision, and accomplishment. So in short, Timekeeper X, it isn't just about keeping time, it's about mastering it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Who's, are you on ChatGPT? Which group do you want to hear next? Which group?
Group 2.
Group 2 is that one, right? Come. Who's coming? Come on, guys. Till these guys decide, any feedback for group 3? Right, it's okay. There's no right and wrong here. There's no. Come. Who's coming? Come. 2 minutes. Come now. So their brief was the Comm, right? Launching the confidence Comm.
Okay, hello everyone, my name is Vanshika, and as I'm in group 2, I'll just say what ChatGPT has generated for me. मैंने prompt उसको दिया था, hey, I'm a PR professional and my brand is launching a Comm named as Confidence Comm. Help me prepare a presentation, and I have typed the questions okay, and it answered me. That I'll use the a concept with the slogan called "Style Your Hair and Shape Your Confidence," and I'll use key messaging like messages and send to my target audience and whatever database I have, and a stroke of confidence beyond looks, every stroke a story. And my approach will be like how I'll connect it, like emotional branding, lifestyle integration. Like in emotional branding, I'll say I'll connect with the audience by promoting the idea that confidence starts with self-love and self-care. And I'll also connect it with lifestyle integration, like position the Comm as a daily essential, not just a grooming tool, but a confidence booster, as Sir has mentioned. And the PR tactics that I'll use to engage the audience will be like influencer partnerships. Obviously, nowadays it is so trending that every influencer is collaborating with brand and promoting the product. We can't really trust that if they are saying genuinely or is it a paid or something like that. But still, I'll ask them to use the hashtag called Comm Your Confidence. And second, I'll be using storytelling campaigns by developing video ads like that, confidence moments, highlights before and after moments, like what happened when you comb with our hair, and what was happening before, and these kind of the messaging and tactics I use. Group 1. Thank you.
Thank you. A round of applause for that, please. Group 1, who's coming?
Hi everyone, my name is Vanshika Gupta, and today we are launching the Writer's Pen, a luxury pen designed for the storytellers. The Writer's Pen is a premium luxury pen designed for the storytellers. It offers an ultra-smooth writing experience that flows like thoughts. Our goals is This is an essential tool for writers, journalists, and creatives. Our target audience is aspiring writers who want a tool that inspires their creativity, journalists who need reliability and comfort for extensive note-taking, creative professionals like screenwriters, poets, and novelists, etc. The luxury stationery enthusiasts who value premium writing tools. Our brand positioning and market strategy is the writer's pen will be marketed as a must-have professionals, competitive edge, premium designs, smooth ink flow, and a storytelling angle. Competitors, Parker and other pen brands, pricing strategy is luxury yet accessible for the serious writers. Storytelling in the market is every writer has a story, and so does their pen. The writer's pen as a companion in creative journeys. Our campaign is Your Words, Your Story, Your Pen, showcasing real writers using the pen. Behind-the-scenes content on craftsmanship and heritage. Media and PR strategy, press release distribution to top media and industry magazines, social media storytelling campaign on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and other platforms. Our influencer and community engagement, partnering with well-known authors, writers, poets, journalists, influencer unboxing videos and testimonials on YouTube, Instagram, and other platforms. Exclusive events, Write with the Pros, live writing sessions. Our launch campaign plan is Phase 1, teasers, hype building, mysterious social media teasers. Phase 2, product reveal, live stream launch with luxury experts. Phase 3, user-generated content encouraging customers to share the stories. Phase 4, retail and online sales, partnerships with luxury stationery brands and stores. Call to action and the conclusion. The writer's pen is not just a pen, it is a storyteller's best friend. Call to an action, encouraging pre-orders and limited edition purchases. Future vision, expanding into exclusive pen accessories and writing kits. Success metrics, sales, social media engagement, and brand recognition. Thank you.
Thank you. The last group now.
Hello everyone, we are group 4. हमारा topic था reflect, a mindful mirror. So what do you see when you see a mirror? You see yourself. So that will be our tagline. See yourself, love yourself. हमारा aim रहेगा कि that we focus on an experience, on storytelling, on not just about the product. It's not about the mirror. It's about us, what we see in that mirror. And I think most of you can relate that when you see that mirror, most of you are not happy with what you see. And we want to change that perspective through our marketing campaign. We want to tell stories. We want to be a storyteller. We want to be your voice and reflect what is happening in society and change that narrative and be voice of the people. So our target audience will be, like in general, everyone will be a target audience, whoever goes and sees the mirror in the morning. But mostly, because marketing campaign we have to be specific, it will be wellness and self-care enthusiasts, individuals who practice mindfulness, people who are seeking emotional balance, a love and connection with themselves. And we will try to connect with lifestyle influencers and mental health advocates, like influencers like Rida Tarana and Astha Shah, who focus more on body positivity and loving themselves. And our campaign strategy will focus mostly around mindfulness and storytelling, like generating that love for ourselves when we see that mirror. And our goal will be to maintain authenticity. Our call to action will be maintaining a campaign online so that people, it will be more like Dove, like you all have seen the Dove ka campaign, how they focused on themselves, on women and body positivity. So our campaign will also be very similar, and it like love yourself, see yourself, and it will be open for all, for men, women, of different age groups, of different body types, everyone. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I just want to open up for, now basis what the question was asked and what everybody went through, what are the areas that you still think AI can support, and where do you think, like for example, where AI will not be able to support you? Clearly one of the areas that came out, storytelling. So what people have heard, any comments? Anything? What did you guys feel when you were making the presentation, when you were putting on ChatGPT? Where do you think it helped and where do you think it did not help? Any comments, guys? Come on.
Hi guys, hello sir. The first thing we just felt that it was all of a sudden, because when the group number talked, then we were just hurry and we did all this stuff. The first thing is that when we put in a prompt or something means, we will get a generated content. That means only computerized content. Then we want to humanize it. Then only it will be help us. Well, it's a rough chat or something like that. While the main thing is that the difference between the humans and the computers or the machines is that the emotional touch. So we can what we can feel, but they can't. So in the same way, when we are using for the PR strategy, we are usually just connecting with the common people, the grassroots of the people around us. So it should be also similar to that. By checking on the ChatGPT or something, but ChatGPT is really helpful to us. As a student, it's really helpful for us, but we need to proof check or fact check, but still there would be an emotional connection. So we were using alternatives like humanize AI or some kind of tools to that, because we want to humanize. Then only it can be practically we can, or strategically we can use to in our society too. So that's one of the drawback we felt. And we get a rough data, it's a raw data. We can't, when we are talking to someone means it should be connected with the person, but we can say when we are doing a communication or something that we have a personal contact or a direct eye contact, that means help us to express to each other. But here we don't get anything, just a raw data only, just facts. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. So it gives you raw data, and it doesn't have emotion, and it still needs to be humanized, right? So that's what you also said, that we need to still humanize. Any other thoughts, guys? You guys, when you're working, what did you guys feel? Same thoughts or different? Anything? Or anyone else wants to add in, right? Any thoughts on when you guys are working on it?
Okay, so when we are working on ChatGPT, like for our assignments or research or something, तो क्या होता है कि वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा ना ह्यूमनाइज नहीं कर पाता. सो वी हैव टू गाइड इट टू ह्यूमनाइज इट, बट इट इज़ रियली वेरी हेल्पफुल. हम लोग की रिसर्च अच्छे से हो जाती है, एंड ऑफ कोर्स इट ऑल्सो गिव्स अस वेरी न्यू आइडियाज, बिकॉज व्हाट वी थिंक इट गिव्स अस समथिंग वेरी एक्स्ट्रा थिंग कि हम लोग उसको देख के कर सकते हैं. एंड ऑब्वियसली इट इज़ अनदर प्लेटफॉर्म जिससे हम कुछ सीख सकते हैं, कुछ नया सीख सकते हैं. थैंक यू.
There was a comment on creativity. Anybody felt that creativity is lacking, completely lacking? Group 3, anybody? You guys, what do you guys think?
So, speaking on behalf of my teammates, we felt that there was this urgency, and we delivered a presentation in 5 minutes. So while I was speaking, my teammates here made a full 5 slides, 8 slides PPT of the Timekeeper's X. So this is what is happening. ChatGPT and all these AI tools, they are just versatile tools to help us cut time. And as I said, for creativity, there are creative elements like Claude and various other Sora and other AI tools that will help us enable, as PR professionals, they will help and enable us to be more creative, more interactive, more better. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other inputs, guys? Oh, here.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. So one of the things was we are also facing that the insight of data. हम जब भी कुछ भी चैट जीपीटी या कोई सा भी AI टूल हम जब भी यूज करते हैं, इट्स ऑलवेज अबाउट हाउ ऑथेंटिक द डेटा इज. और अभी भी हम वही फेस कर रहे थे. वी आर गेटिंग लॉट्स ऑफ लिंक्स एंड ऑल कि जहाँ पर डेटा हमको मिल रहा था, बट द थिंग वाज वी आर नॉट श्योर दैट द डेटा इज ऑथेंटिक और नॉट. सो वी हैव टू फैक्ट चेक इट ऑल्सो. इट ऑल्सो टेक टाइम. सो दैट्स द थिंग व्हाई वी डिडंट पुट द डेटा इनसाइट्स.
So guys, any other inputs? Last, I promised to finish this in 20 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think one thing that I'd like to add here is that we are overly dependent on AI. We don't even make that effort to fact check the facts or the information that we are putting. We are much more reliant on AI rather than taking a minute as to what we want to get out of that information. We are overly dependent as to, oh, just the AI will do it. We don't put in that effort on our own.
Yeah, just to sum up, I think on the research side, everybody said that we need to fact check. The raw data needs to be checked again. You're not sure whether it's right, so please always fact check your data that's coming through, right? So it's an important one when you're using AI. Clearly, on the second part, you need to look at your creative angle a lot more. So what's the storytelling that's coming in will still require a brainstorming. It can give some thoughts, but it'll still need for you to brainstorm and come together and sit together. But just a scenario, right, guys? In a world where tech is coming, right, and there's a technology always coming, just think about what more can you do when enabling things like this come. You can attend sessions like this a lot more, right? And you can spend a lot of time outside meeting your clients, meeting influencers, media. So the human touch, you have a lot more time now to bring that human touch in when we're having conversations right there, right? So utilize that time, learn a lot more. That's the best thing of being a human. We can always keep evolving and keep learning, right? We can be the best storytellers ever, right? And that's what makes us different from anybody else. So keep that going. This session was designed by you, for you, and done by you. So thank you so much. My name is Abhishek, and I can be reached on LinkedIn. Thank you.
First and foremost,
Sorry, last thing. Any raise of hands for the winner? Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, another controversial part in this. Raise hands for Group 1, please. Okay, raise hands for Group 2. Only one person for Group 2. 2 people. Guys, come on. Okay, raise hands for Group 3. All right, and raise hands for Group 4. Okay, between Group 3 and Group 4. So winners for Group 3. Now, come on, everyone needs to raise hands. Winners, Group 3. Group 3. Hey, you guys need to raise hands too. Don't be so disappointed, it's okay. All right, Group 4. You guys are not, you don't think anybody's the winner? Right, okay. So, I'll request Faisal.
well, we do have something for the winning group. Could I please request the representative to kindly come forward?
Right, so guys, reach out to Faisal for Group 4 or Group 3? All right, we'll announce it as joint winners, so you'll have to share the gift, right? Since no clear winners are coming. So Group 3 and Group 4, guys, thank you.
Mr. Guliani, I'm afraid I must request you to stay back with me on the stage. First and foremost, to present a small token of appreciation to the representative from the winning team. Can we please welcome the representative from the winning team? Sir. And I believe as I say this on everybody's behalf when we thank Mr. Guliani for his time and for the productive session. For the same, ladies and gentlemen, joining us from Exchange for Media is Ms. Shipra Biswas to present a small token of appreciation to Mr. Abhishek Guliani. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Quite the beginning to the PR Masterclass. Ladies and gentlemen, with this we are headed towards the first panel discussion of the day. Now, I do not fancy myself a mind reader, but I am certain at the base what we are all thinking about. How to land your first job in the PR and communications industry. Big question, bigger answers. Joining us on stage, ladies and gentlemen, are our panelists. Requesting everyone to join in and offer them a big round of applause as they join us on the stage. Let's give it up for the founder at Comm's Credible. Let's give it up for Mr. Aman Dhal. Welcoming our next panelist, the founder and CEO at Comm. Please give it up for Mr. Aman Abbas. And to shed some light on how to land your first job in the PR and communications industry, the next panelist is the founder at Authenticity. Please welcome Garima Sharma Nishavan. And completing the panel, it's time to welcome the moderator. Please give it up for Ms. Ritika Opanyu from Exchange for Media.
Thank you, Saibjeet, for the introduction, and I welcome all the panelists to discuss this interesting topic today. And I think it's very relevant because we all have been students once, and we have been through the ups and downs of our student life, and then moving to a professional environment can be exciting and challenging. So in today's panel, we'll discuss everything from the challenges students face after completing their educational curriculum and then when they enter the professional world. So let's start the panel, and I will start a panel with an interesting story, and I want all of you to share like how did you first secure your first job in the industry. So we'll start with Garima.
Yes, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ritika, for this. And I'm really honored and happy to be here. You said it just right, that those butterflies in our stomach when we are trying to figure out our first job, going to the office for the first time, dressing up formally. And honestly, for me, it's not very long ago, that feeling. I keep channelizing and dipping into that feeling because I teach communications at some of the great colleges. I have this audience has a lot of my students sitting here, so I'm very happy to have them here from IIMC, from Masters Union, from NDIM and various other colleges. So because I teach interview readiness and communications day in and day out, I'm very much in touch with this. But I'll stick to the brief that you've given me, which is about my first job. So by God's grace, because I was at IIMC, campus recruitments in those days was really cool. So, and all of you, majority of the industry would know Anup Sharma, right? So he used to be at Perfect Relations at that point of time. He was the one who interviewed me. He was the one who hired me at Perfect Relations. And for us, it was pretty much like a party because there were 13 of us who were picked up from the campus to join Perfect Relations at that point of time. And the initial, what happens at, okay, let me not take the agency. Now you know which agency. So, homegrown agency, one of the best agencies, the big ones, what they do is, aise leke gaye, gardan se pakad ke, you are just put in that pool. Now you think, oh, Ganga hai, Jamna hai, swimming pool hai, jo samajhna samajh lo. Either you swim your way through and survive, or you grapple, whatever it may be. Wherever we are today, we have a lot of help in terms of teaching, training, coaching, upskilling. There's a lot of this conversation that's there. Earlier, that was not the case. You would learn a lot on the job, and that's what we did. And the good thing was, after a month of surviving, so if you survived your first month, then you got the chance to meet the founder. And he's like, Acha, बच गए तुम 30-40 दिन का अब आओ सांबा. Now you come and meet Thakur, right? That kind of a thing. And we used to cherish all of that. We used to cherish that grilling that we used to go through. So that's my first message to all of you. For you to land that first job, and be good at it, but just show up like a champion. Just show up in your full energy. Just show up in your full power and want it from the fire of your belly should show. And maybe that's what showed throughout, and here we are. Long answer to your short question. Moving on, Aman.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So I think very interesting story. I also come from the same pedigree. I was also thrown into the pool. That's another story, but before that, basically I started my career in advertising after doing my MBA. And after that, in fact, so there was an in-house PR agency over there. And that time I realized that the growth of PR would be extremely fast. So I should make a switch to the PR side. So I went for a couple of interviews and I met this gentleman called Mr. M.L. Call. Okay, he used to run this agency called Mel Call PR, which I think got acquired later on. So, and he was an old gentleman. So he said, why you want to come in PR? You're doing fine in advertising. I said, I think at this point of time, I can see that this industry is going to grow very well. And that's the reason why I should be here, because then I'll also grow along with the growth of the industry. So he said that in my 60s, when I joined the PR industry, I also had the same reason for joining the PR industry. But I'll tell you what, if you join the PR industry today, you will also have the same reason. It's just that the tactics are very, very different from what it used to be when I joined, or probably when that gentleman joined. So, that's how it is. Just a little anecdote on what she said. So in that agency, when you go, you are not told that where exactly are you going to land. So there's a mother agency, and then there are, a lot of allied agencies. So you are called in the mother agency, you get into the interview, you qualify, and then you are asked to report on a particular day. You report on that particular day in that office only, but then you discover, then you are escorted somewhere, and you land in some office. And then you realize which exactly is the agency where you landed. So, it used to be very interesting at that point of time.
Before we bring in Aman, and I'm so sorry I'm butting in here, but one good thing is, see, we have our own agents. Like we are sitting and we are right now like the founders of our own ventures. So, wo jo wahan pe humne thodi si band bajwai, somewhere it paid off.
See,
right?
I would definitely say that that's the mother of the entire PR industry.
Yeah.
I mean, all the alumni of that agency, which is Perfect Relations, let me say that, which does not exist any longer, unfortunately. But the alumni of that industry actually rule the entire industry today, if you look at it. So, yeah, happy to be, part of that.
So, I started my career as a journalist, and for me, preparation began, I think, 2 years ahead of, when I started my career. In the third year of my college, I decided, okay, I want to pursue journalism, and what do I need to do? I spoke to my professors. Novi Kapadia, who is no more there, was a very famous sports commentator, and Smita Mishra ma'am, who is also very passionate about sports reporting. So all they told me was just write, earn a lot of bylines, showcase your work, whatever you can. So I did a lot of writing, contributed to the college magazine, wherever I could volunteer and write, I did. I did a post-graduation from Pioneer Media School in journalism. And again, during the whole year, I was contributing to various things. Also contributed to a paper which was launched called the Campus Paper. It was a visionary paper by Ajay Jain, who everyone knows as Kunzum founder. So, I used to get paid 500 rupees at that time per article. It used to be like really, really good. So by the time I actually went for my first interview, I had ample bylines, and in fact, I landed the first job in our institute, and it was for a little publication from Karnataka, Vijay Times, which was later taken over by the Times of India Group. I was interviewed by Vijay Sankeshwar, who was the MP from Karnataka, who own this newspaper. But I think all I will say is that, volunteer a lot, contribute a lot on a lot of bylines. Even PR is all content actually. Showcase your research skills. I think that'll help you a lot, especially in landing your first job.
So thank you all for sharing your interesting stories of the starting of your career. But I think nowadays the industry has transformed a lot, and today's situation in the job market is quite different, like what you all have faced. So I want to know the challenges you might have seen, like the today's student face in getting the jobs, or what kind of mistakes they make in their resumes or interviews, and like how can they improve that so that they can sustain in the industry for the long term. So we'll start with Aman sir first.
Yeah, so see, I'll tell you, in fact, one of the problems that I faced when I interviewed children is that, so I asked this question that, so why do you want to be in PR? And you will not believe that almost 70 to 80% bachas said, because you know what, I like meeting people, but we are not in the business of meeting a lot of people. PR, public relations, has public in it. Public is basically the audience of the organization, and that audience could be fairly large. It could be an electorate. It could be like an entire middle class of the country or whatever. So would you meet so many people? You will not. It's about using the tools to be able to reach out to that public that the organization is trying to catch. Second thing is that, a lot of people that I meet these days now, and it's quite a thing for me, it's a shock for me. So I said, have you seen this newspaper called Mint? He said, what? I said, Mint. I said, yeah, okay. So, and if somebody says that, oh, I've seen Mint, then they say, have you seen the physical copy of it? Chances are that people have not. So, I'm not saying that PR is equal to media relations, but it's extremely important for you to know that media actually carries a lot of these messages for the audience. So my suggestion is that when you go for your interview, be very prepared in the sense that you do your research on the agency for which you are going for the interview. Try to read more and more about them. What is the kind of clients that they have, what kind of values, what's the recent event that they have done, or whatever. But try to know a lot about the agency. Second thing is that be aware of what's happening in the environment. So you should actually come across as a well-read person. Because what happens is that, in PR, so this is the only profession which actually allows you to meet the top management of your clients. And that's a huge privilege that you people are going to get when you're getting into your jobs. You get into sales career, marketing career, this career, that career. You'll probably take 2 decades to meet up with the CEO of the organization. But in the next 3-4 years, you'll be sitting in the office of a CEO. So how do you want to sound when you're sitting with a CEO? You want to sound intelligent because you are representing yourself and you are representing your industry, your agency or the organization that you're joining. So, these 2 things are extremely important. Knowing where you're going, know more about the industry, PR industry when you're getting into a job, and then know about the overall business environment that's happening. I think these are the 3 most important things according to me. And have a very positive attitude. Honestly speaking, if you've read how to make press release, probably aap logon ko padhaya gaya hoga wo, nobody ever asked, Aman can also say that, she's also, nobody ever asked, अच्छा तुम press release बना के test दो मुझे, मैं देखता हूँ अगर अच्छा बना है तो तुम्हारा हो जाएगा selection. That doesn't happen. So it's your attitude towards the work that actually, so.
I'll just add one more question to it. Do you think the student, like the present age students, have a correct, they know the correct definition of the industry? What is public relation and communications? Yeah, I think, yeah, it's a good idea. So I'll from the audience, I'll ask, is anyone interested in sharing what they know of public relation? How would they define it? And the panelists, panelists.
Let me make your job easy. Give me a raise of hands if you understand what public relations is.
Yeah.
Just give me a raise of
And if
hands.
you don't raise your hands, then you are not supposed to be here.
यार हम ना बहुत प्रेशर डाल रहे हैं तुम्हारे ऊपर, ठीक है? First of all, chill. It's just a conversation. Good. Give me a raise of hands if you understand what PR is, right? Thank you so much. Thank you. Give me a raise of hands if you do not understand what PR is. Right? Thank you so much for your honesty. Can we give a round of applause for her? Because the rest of you are in middle somewhere. You're not raising hands if you know it. You're not raising hands if you don't know it. That's exactly what Aman is telling you. You've got to show up as who you are. You've got to speak your truth.
Yes.
Just repeat after me one thing, and that's the mantra of what, we'll leave you with. How I do anything is how I do everything. Not good enough. Khada hona padega. How I do anything is how I do everything. Right? The ones who understand PR or do not understand PR, मुझे ना एक बड़ी master definition दी गई थी in my first 3 years of PR. Bobby Cable Ramani again, perfect relations में. हम आग लगाते हैं और हम आग बुझाते हैं. एक round of applause बनती है. Easiest definition of PR is, if there is fire, you're going to go and extinguish it. And if there's no fire, then you're going to figure out a way of ethically, professionally spinning things around and igniting a fire. That does not mean sensationalization. That does not mean wrong information. That just means that as people can we weave a story in such a beautiful way that somebody else wants to have it. Right? How many of you now know what PR is? Give me a raise of hands if you understand what PR is. Right? और उसके बाद हम बहुत सारी बुक की बात कर सकते हैं.
Yes.
कि इन्होंने ये डिफाइन किया था, वो डिफाइन किया था, ऐसे था. I'm just saying top line, if you understand this much.
Yeah. See, basically, it is a complex thing, honestly speaking. So PRSA, which is PR Society of America, everybody was giving different definitions. So they called for a survey, and there were thousands of responses that actually came, and then they actually gave a definition of what PR is. And that's what I mean, when you are actually going for an interview, go and do Google, and you will get a lot of very interesting information that will make you look extremely intelligent in front of your interviewer. And that's what, see, interview is what? Like आधे घंटे में जाके interviewer को impress करना है यार, नौकरी मिल गई उसके बाद फिर तो अपन सीख लेंगे ना. So for that half an hour you have to kind of do a bit of a research.
Aman, what's your take on this?
I would just say that actually there are more opportunities today. It's not tough. There was no digital then. Digital actually started and shut down also during my time. So even like PR agencies, there were a handful of them. Advertising agencies were doing most of the job for the PR people. So there are a lot more opportunities today. As you can see, there are a lot of institutions also teaching communications. Even like the big IIMs now have courses on strategic communications or whatever.
Yes.
So I would say more opportunities. The profession has actually kind of grown immensely. People really understand the role it plays, critical role it plays. It's changing kind of dimensions because of new kind of influencer or kind of social media, everything kind of packaging into kind of integrated communications territory. All I would say is that I think homework is very important. Research is very, very important. When you are meeting someone, you should know about their organization, what they are trying to achieve. Can you kind of, if they ask any question, can you give takeaways in 3 or 5 pointers? I think that opinion is very, very important. Right or wrong doesn't matter. Can you curate 3 to 5 key takeaways? Even like when you're wrapping up a conversation or even introducing, what are the 3 things you are really, really good at? So I think in essence, what I'm trying to say here is that, your confidence, your research, your homework, ability to summarize. Eventually, it's a content industry. We might call it a PR industry. Even I call every brand is a content brand. Everyone is trying to influence through their content. Starbucks is also selling an experience through curating that experience with content. So yeah, I think I would just say that be very good with different formats of content, be it audio, be it video, be it text. If you're mastery in these three, great. If you're mastery in one and you're average in two, better. But if you are, in today's day and age, if you are good in one and zero in others, challenge is a big challenge. So you need to be kind of, because of technology coming in, you need to be good at more things than maybe we had to be when we started.
Yeah, Garima, so you have already shared a very interesting definition of PR with the students present here. So would you like to share more on this?
Yeah, I want to build on what Aman and Amana are saying. You know, they're very kind. They're very kind. They told you all the tricks and tips of how to show up in an interview and crack a job, right? I will just take one step back. For a very long time, I used to say this to my clients also, and I used to say this in classrooms also, that public relations, PR is not a sales function. It supports the sales function. It's a marketing function, this function, that function, whatever. At the end of the day, it's about selling. When you decided to do PR, journalism, marketing course, whatever, you sold it to your parents, right? Sab yahan pe ek dusre, like, have you been on night outs, guys? So far, give me a raise of hands if you have been. Oh, I've got a very good crowd here. Have you been out on dates? First initial date at least? Appreciate your honesty. Have you had to put up a fight with your mom at some point in time to wear something that's more revealing to her sensibilities than yours, girls? Yeah? Did you sell these things to them? You sold the fact that, oh, I'll be safe, I'll have a friend, they'll call you back. Oh, no, we're going to do group studies. Oh, please trust me on the... You've done sales? Yes or no? You've gone on dates, you've sold yourself as a prospective partner, yes or no? You've submitted an assignment late and sold the fact that you were sick and genuinely could not do it, yes or no? Yes. So interviews are also selling yourself. I just need one thing for all of you to do, because somatically your body will remember, baki tum sab bhul jaoge. Give me a raise of hands, everybody raise your right hands. Give me shimmy hands. I want to see these hands shimming, otherwise I'll not go further. Yeah, good, do that. Now make a lamp. Yeah, this is the lens through which you see the world. Till the time this lens is outward, inward. Do this, outward, repeat after me, outward, inward, outward, inward. Kya ho raha hai? 1, 2, 3, outward, inward, outward, inward. Faster, outward. Very good, lovely. When you go for an interview, the outside world is going to evaluate you on certain metrics. How are you dressed? How are you talking? Are you talking sense? Are you sounding intelligent? Do you know what job you are here for? What do you want in life? What salary do you want? What position do you want? What agency will you work in? But if your inward is hollow, you're not knowledgeable, you've not done your research, you've not dressed a certain way, you're not looking the part that day, will you make it? That's it. It's just about selling yourself. And that's how you're going to land your first job. Uske baad kya chahiye? That's a completely different story for moving up the ladder. But the point is, the first job is about first impression. It's about knowing what you want. And the more you know yourself in this journey, you will be able to land a job that you want to sustain and thrive in. So for me, honestly, as somebody who's been in the industry for almost 2 decades, it's not just about that first job, yaar. वो लग जाएगी. उसके बाद क्या? Right? It's also important for us to talk about that. Would you like us to talk about that a little?
यार पहली तो दिलवा दो यार. बाकी तो देख ले.
So let's ask them and ask, what would you guys want to see? We can also take questions, right? Or
Yeah.
At the end.
After that. Discussion. So, okay. So the next question we'll take, that As industry leaders, you all have worked with both formally trained professionals and those who have entered the field through practical experience. So how do you see the balance between academic qualifications and real-world exposure? And also, like, does a degree provide an edge, or like do internship and all the job learning play a big role in the successful career in PR and communications industry? Okay, we'll start with Aman.
Okay, so, I mean, according to me, I think qualification does play a role. And I'll give you a little example. You know, any organization which employs consultants, there is a certain value chain that is there. So management consulting is perhaps right at the top. They do the strategy for the organization. They are paid the top dollars. After that, you have, you know, people like maybe merchant bankers and all those kind of people, investment bankers who are actually telling about deals. Then you have, you know, at a similar level, you have big four people giving consulting, and then HR consultants, and then you have PR consultants. Now, you know, why in that value chain, the amount of money that is paid to a management consulting firm like McKinsey is extremely different from what is being paid to a PR agency. It is because of the education and the qualification that people have in those organizations and the way those organizations have groomed those people and the product that they have created around that. So I think, you know, it is extremely important and you know, so why an organization or a client pays you, not as an employee, but you know, as an agency. They pay you because you help them achieve a certain business goal. Now, how much can you help them move the needle? It decides how much money you get. So as a PR professional, if you understand their business well, and not just like, you know, how to write a press release, if you understand their business well, and if you are able to, you know, have that intelligent conversation with them, create solutions that are actually helping their business grow, where you are helping them moving the needle for the objectives that they had employed you for, is when you are extremely successful. You sold yourself, your organization can demand premium from the client, and you will be able to position yourself, you know, as a true consultant rather than somebody who's called at the last stage when there is a press conference happening, chalo PR walon ko bula lete hain, ya media coverage honi hai, PR walon ko bula lete hain. So that qualification or the education plays a very, very important role. And you know, that's what I said when you're going for an interview, make it your habit to read and read. Know the industry, know the organization where you are going and how you are going to make that contribution.
Personally, I don't look at academic qualifications at all. I usually look at the skill set the person is bringing and the problem statement I have, you know, this person to solve. So I've done a lot of such hiring in the past, today as well, and some work, some don't work. But having said that, when they work, they are gold, because people who don't carry requisite, when I say requisite, they might be coming from a different field, they might be underqualified, so they have more hunger. And if they're actually doing their assignment well, that shows they have a command over the skill set you require. So I've never gone, you know, with academic qualifications because I feel that's kind of a, you know, an outlier. Yes, you can get right people with right academic qualifications, but there is no guarantee. And I would say there is lesser guarantee. And it is also because maybe there is a gap in terms of what industry requires and what is being taught. And that gap has been existing always, but I think it is widening more, which is my concern, big concern. And I think it is also maybe because the technology, the AI adoption, a lot of things have come in the last couple of years, which kind of also maybe the academia could not foresee. And when any organization becomes bigger, the elephant is difficult to move. So I would kind of want my academic partners to kind of reinvent themselves, because every day we are inventing ourselves. And I think as you people who are trying to kind of get that first job, or, you know, the best job you want for yourself, I think you need to be well prepared for what the requirements are of the industry. And that doesn't mean a qualification, I can tell you this.
So, Garima, what's your take on this?
Thank you so much, Ritika. Guys, for me, this thing is very clear. So, of course, we've heard the voices that, yes, the institution you're coming from matters to some organizations, to some it won't. One thing that's going to be with you forever is your portfolio. For me, the day you enter a professional course where you're prepping to be in a job after this, we can, you know, we can talk, I don't want to use this term blame, but yeah, we can put the monkey on the back of the academicians, we can put the monkey back on the curriculum makers, we can put the monkey back on the back of an AI evolving too fast and we not being able to catch up. But honestly, it's like I said about turning inwards and preparing your portfolio. For example, if I go to a classroom, and I've been in the industry for 16 years, right? So I've done hiring, I've seen what works, what doesn't work. But now when I go and teach a class, and there is a class of 70 students, the ones who are going to connect with me on LinkedIn later on, the ones who are going to stay in touch with me, the ones who are wanting to come to an event like this, automatically, I would recommend you more, right? So my point is, you got to take your power back and start building your portfolio. Like Aman is saying very early on, he was writing. Left, right, center, he was producing content. I'm sure that today comes handing. Do you have a blog? Do you have a LinkedIn presence? Do you, like Aman said, read? Do you listen to the right kind of audio content? Whatever works for you. Do you watch the right kind of movies? Do you take lessons from these movies? How many of you did a deciphering of the Mahakumbh marketing strategies? It's globally right now becoming a marketing case study in how civil law and order is kept, how cleanliness is maintained, how marketing and PR is done at a globally, you know, at an event where 40 crore population wasn't in a mobile, situation. So I don't know what, it's very easy to say that, you know, the education institution needs to do this, the teachers need to do this, the technology does this, blah, all of that is true. All of that was true even when we came in. When I entered the profession, I'm sure most of it, both of you, we used to flip 20 papers in the morning, yeah. हमारे scanner वाले phone नहीं थे. We used to then stand in queues to get them scanned. We used to then make a report. Something that today takes you 10 minutes used to take the 2 hours of our mornings every day. Yes, that enriched us. But today, if you're saving on the rest of the hour and a half, then where are you using it? On a chai sutta break? Or on upskilling yourself? So the power is in your hands. You want to say something?
Yeah, I think, you know what Garima is saying, I think still those traditional ways of doing research work.
Yeah.
If you do that, I can guarantee you, you will produce amazing results. People are just running away from doing the fundamentals. You ask a Virat Kohli, he will be going to the drawing board, you know. Everyone goes to a rough patch, even the biggest of players, they will go back to homework. You know, if I have to go back and do pitching, I'll first read at least 10 stories of a journalist, what the last stories were, is there a trend I see before I go in pitching. I won't go just blind. So I would say that, you know, the homework is very, very critical.
True, and Aman, at that point of time, अगर हमें किसी को pitch करना, like if you had to pitch a story to a journalist as a PR person, 2-3 दिन तो phone number निकालने में लग जाते थे यार. You're cutting on that cycle because of technology, but that can be a boon or a bane
depending on how we use it. You can also frustrate this journalist by sending him messages, DM on Instagram and Facebook where it's not entertained, versus you can professionally show up at a LinkedIn profile and spin a story so beautiful that the journalist really wants to come and get it from you. So all I'm saying is, as students and as academicians, as teachers, as young professionals, the power is in your hand, yeah. You know, you can choose to look at challenges and you can also choose to look at opportunities. But opportunities are multifold and none of us are denying that. All we are saying is thoda mehnat to karna padega.
Yeah. So I think it's a very great advice all of you have shared with the students present here. So I'll just open question for the audience. Anyone from the audience would like to ask any question from the panelists? Anyone? This session is for you students.
So as Aman sir stated that there is a gap between the academics and the industry. So I just wanted to know that what if a student is in a particular institute and he has to gain some type of skill set. So like, unlike some of the students who are in good institute and all, how can student work on his skill set? I mean, apart from what the institution is teaching, but what he can do from himself?
I think Garima has answered that. You know, every institute is good. Trust me. What you make out of it. I didn't start with a A-listed publication. I was in a school. I didn't know how to speak English till I came here in Delhi. I couldn't write English properly. So I think it depends on you. Eventually, how you want to improve every day. And I can tell you stories of people who studied with me. We stayed together as journalists. The rigor they had as journalists, you know. My friend who is now manages the edit page for Hindustan Times, he used to literally like sleep every night listening to BBC radio for 3 hours. In the daytime, he was reading newspapers. So it was a work of a lot of years where he is there today. And we were not in a very A-listed institution when we studied our journalism as well. So it depends, it starts with you. If you have hunger, you will find your mentors. Could be inside the institution, could be outside the institution.
Anyone else from the audience?
Good afternoon, respected panelists. My question is, if you were 20 again, what would be the one advice you would give to yourself so that one thing that we all can imbibe?
I don't mind being 20 again with the money that I have today.
Money is important.
No, so see, I'll tell you, in fact, you know, a lot of mistakes I can talk about myself I made when I was 20. And one of the mistakes was this only, that probably I always think that I should have gone to a better college. So that's one. Second thing is that probably I should have read more at that point of time. You know, that would have given me a great kickstart from a very, very early stage. I think these are the things that I would say. But if you have a lot of money, then you go here and there. So it's better not to have money at this stage.
Yeah. And I'll not lose this chance of being 20 again, right? So I'd love to add to that. If I was 20 again, I would take more risk. I would be more outdoors. I would physically involve myself with things that are happening in the world rather than sticking to my own group. That's definitely something that all of you must do. You should find mentors very early on, and I'm not saying boring people, right? If a stand-up comic is your mentor, so be it. If somebody like Bamal Rani who started his second innings at 40, he's your mentor, so be it. Vote ke pi jao, wo kya karte hain. But be outdoors a little more, move your body a little more, and meet different people, travel on a budget. Good, you don't have too much money. But backpack and travel. Fight with your parents, with the institution, take leaves, bunk if you have to. Travel. Experiential learning, guys. Okay, when I say risk does not...
You are in teaching and we are in the profession.
Yeah, but see, because what life can teach you outdoor, like outside of a classroom, at almost 40, I'm taking these risks. In the last year and a half, I've gone on a 13-day trek. I've gone out and done Khatro Ke Khiladi like training camp for 6 days, and I'm genuinely telling you that that's changing my relationship with who I am. So please, time se kar lo, you know, and keep health on your side. Definitely, because a lot of conversation on mental health, but please guys, it all starts with your body. Your body fat's giving the signs of everything else. So mental health, physical health. I'm not saying fancy, toxic, blah, blah, whatever. Make friends, go out, travel, outdoors, health. Very important. Sab ho jayega baki ka.
I think Garima has spoken on behalf of all the people in 20s right now and what they want.
I'm going to say I feel 20.
Tell them that. He was at Olympics representing us.
No, not at Olympics, but yeah. I was playing in a different, but not, I was seeing, yeah. Anyways, so I would just say that travel a lot more. You won't get this kind of time when you kind of grow up. And I think be grateful for every age of life. Basically, what I've learned is, being grateful for wherever you are. In the sense, at times we feel, okay, when we will achieve this, we will do this. Oh, we should have done it in this in school. Ye sab nahi hota. Be happy, be grateful for where you are. And I think once you do that, you will be at peace with yourself and you will enjoy more of your life.
Yeah, live in the present. So yes, thank you so much all the panelists. I think our time is up. So I think all the students are going here with great insights how they can kickstart their journey in the communication industry. So a round of applause for all our panelists. Thank you so much.
Please ensure that your applauses will tell that how much fun you had in a particular session. So I'm expecting for this particular one to be a bigger, better, louder one. And with the same, requesting the moderator, Ms. Upmani, to kindly do the honors of presenting a small token of appreciation to our panelists for their valuable insights and for their time. And also a big shout out to all the lovely people out there. In case you're planning on posting any pictures, comments, or any videos related to today's event across any of your social media platforms, please do not forget to use the hashtag e4m PR Masterclass, hashtag e4m PR and Corp, and hashtag e4m Masterclass. Thank you very much. That's that. All right, with this we are headed towards the next panel discussion. The topic at hand is how emerging professionals can balance and leverage AI and automation. Join me as I welcome our panelist. Joining us on stage is Abhi Mahapatra, independent consultant. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm given to understand that Mr. Mahapatra is rather occupied at the moment. Is he available here with us? If not, let's quickly WhatsApp him, call him, and request him to come back inside and join us. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, joining us is the head GCC Client Communications at Ernst & Young. Please put your hands together for Nindita Mukherjee Sinha. Up next, founder. Well, now you do.
Okay, so each question, each response.
Up Up next, joining us on stage as panelist for this particular panel is the founder and director, Media Mantra. Please welcome Pooja Pathak. And while we wait for Mr. Mahapatra to return and join us on the stage, let's welcome the moderator. Please put your hands together for Ms. Ritika Upmanyu from Exchange for Media. At any given point when it's the moment for applauses and you find your hands rather occupied, you can use the other hand to bang on the table and give them a warmer, happier welcome.
So I think we have to start without Abhi Mahapatra, and he'll join us in between the panel. So good afternoon everyone, and good afternoon panelists. So the topic we are discussing today is how emerging professionals can balance and leverage AI and automation. He'll be joining us sometime, yeah. So I think we have had our first masterclass on this topic in the morning, and all the audience, like the entire audience, engaged very well. So like in our previous events as well, like we have had lots of discussion about artificial intelligence and how it has been a talk of the town. But today's discussion is all about the future of the industry for all the young professionals, students, and like who have joined us. So without any delay, we'll start. So the first question I would like to ask Ms. Pooja, like what are the top 3 areas where AI can help PR professionals?
Hi everyone. So I think this is a topic that is completely trending, and it has also, it's for some it's a cause for worry, for others it's an opportunity, and I think I would like to take it the other way, and I would like to see AI as an opportunity building area, as an enabler, rather than really thinking that it's an elephant in the room that needs to be addressed. So I think it will be very imperative that, first of all, we keep that kind of a mindset. I'll take you all back to the days of COVID times that, in our industry, we thought that we can never operate out of homes. We can never operate from a work from home or a flexible kind of a working model. But time really taught us how to manage that, and we completely understood how to use even technology. So I think all of us today who have been PR practitioners and communication consultants, we kind of really thought that that's the only way out. So when we look at how AI is actually an opportunistic enabler, I feel it actually makes your work, it has to be treated like a co-worker. If not the main worker or any other way, it has to be treated like a co-worker. And the job of a co-worker is to at least ensure that your firsts of everything is done. So it's very important that, you take that as a learning and see that how we can look at that as an enabler for us to utilize that and further groom ourselves to do other multiple things, like, develop our own skills, develop our connections with people, look at meeting people, relationship building meetings. That's very imperative to know that how we can utilize AI and not really get threatened by it. I think that's firstly a narrative that we need to have it in our mind, that let's not get threatened by it. Yeah.
So Anandita, would you like to share your views on this?
Well, yes. This is a topic, first of all, hi everyone, good afternoon. This is a topic where we are, quote unquote, have gained a bit of experience in the industry, but speaking in midst of this young minds, young crowd, who I'm sure are double expert in using AI or any technology while working. It's not? Yeah. I think it is. Hello? Am I audible now? Okay, so good afternoon everyone. So what I was just saying is we have given a topic and we have gained a bit of experience in the industry the people who are sitting on the dais, but I'm sure the young crowds here for who we are speaking are really, really adept and doubly, quote unquote, educated, aware of using technologies. They are very, very smart. In fact, at times I say this young crowd, even I have a young son at home, they themselves each individually are one AI tool. Trust me. So this is something we have no choice but to accept. Because I would definitely say, taking from forward further from Pooja, that it is such an enabler that it not only, it decreases the time, the throughput time which we put in every work, but if we use it judiciously, it becomes really very, sort of a zero error mechanism. Of course, we have to know the tricks of the trades and to go on and maintain the ethical and the, form of it. But I have a team where there's a boy who, if given something, he always says, okay, I'll just give you, let me go and ask my assistant. So I at times feel that he has humanized the AI tools, and he treats them as someone who's reporting to him. Trust me. And then he comes, of course, with his own share of copy or what he thinks is good. But so many AI tools we have seen now, we are using now, and automating the entire process, whether it's drafting a press release, whichever tools, they know better than us, probably Grammarly, there are so many things we use for CRM, for ORM. It has definitely made our life easy, and whether we accept it or not, we have to learn them, we have to go with the trends, flow with the tide, and we have to make it a part of our life. Why? Because if we use them strategically, it saves a lot of our time in thinking about something which is just the output. Rather we, suppose drafting, a storytelling, when we write a story, we create our newsletters, or we create a draft release. So we give those keywords. There are tools which we use in giving the first draft. Also we can, tell a command with the voice command, we can tell what is the pitch we should use. So the entire thing, 80% of that is ready, so that we spend our time in thinking of strategies or strategizing how we should leverage that, how we should use that in the market, who are target audiences, and kiske paas ye jaake, exactly it should land. That database we get. So I feel that AI automation for PR professionals definitely is a boon, and you just need to be intelligent enough to use it, being ethical. But there are no two ways about it. You need to have this.
So, hello, I think it's audible. So now I want to know more about your personal experience, from the time you have entered the industry and to the present day and age, what transformation have you seen AI has created in the workplace? All the challenges that comes with it and the advantages.
So I think up till now, we kind of all felt that AI is like an experiment that we are doing. It's like some technology which will come and maybe wean off. But slowly and gradually we start realizing that, we'll have to all learn how to use it well. Because the point is not about what it is, the point is that how do we use it. And initially we were all struggling understanding how to use it because it was all new. It's not like since the time we have been in the industry, we've been using AI. So even we have seen the industry with a lot of evolution. we have also seen the industry evolve over the years. And when we started our PR, it was completely different. That time there was no integrated communication that we were any which ways doing, right? There was nothing like actually doing Instagram, influencers and all. This is not something that we were doing. We were doing traditional media. And then the challenge in front of us was that now that digital media will come, what happens to traditional media? So, I clearly remember a few years back, today we're discussing AI, 8-10 years ago, we were all discussing what traditional and digital media, whether traditional will save or it will not even save, but today after 10 years, we're discussing about AI. Another 10 years, probably we'll discuss something else. The point is that every time that there will be something new, there will be something that will keep coming in front of us, and we'll all have to look for a solution. Today, as communication custodians, our role starts from the boardrooms. We are no more required towards the end of a pitch. We are required towards the start of a communication strategy. So up till now, people didn't even know what PR is. They used to confuse us with advertisements. They used to confuse us saying that, on this page number, we want this kind of a coverage. So I think, we've only seen things getting better. And even with time, even we are understanding, even we are learning about influencers and all, like podcasts is such a new thing. Earlier clients were showing so much resistance against even podcasts, but today it's such an open thing to discuss with clients about podcasts. So I think I always look at things from a different lens, and I think that's the better way to look at it, only because it gives us at least the mind space to think of how we can now adapt and move ahead, because I think the way ahead is only to adapt well. There is no point really thinking that why it has come, because it has any which ways come. But the better way would be to really use it well. And the discussion ahead should be, how are we using it well? What are the best practices we're all using in our organizations to adapt this kind of a concept very well? So I think that's what it is, and with young people, with all of you, I think you come with really great, fresh ideas. With a lot of you guys, I feel that I have learned Instagram from the young people, I had no idea what Instagram and reeling and all this thing is about. But, this is what the best part about learning is, that, what you guys bring on the table with so much of freshness, I don't think so that, we were still doing our way of it. So I think it's time that we integrate it well, and we kind of really look at looking at a very creative way, because this is communication. It always has to evolve. It can't go stagnant.
So, Anandita? Yes, definitely the landscape has evolved, and in our times, like initially, I think at least we got a laptop to draft things, but earlier it was typewriter and there were no internet. So I feel that time it was more real time in terms of the field study, which I think used to, the people used to be benefited by, on ground happenings, on ground coverage, the reality. So now as we are talking about real time, which the social media platforms are offering us, but I feel it was more real time in those days, because people used to be physically available at that time in each and every aspect to see. Investigative journalism was at a different height altogether. So now with the digitalization coming, as it has covered everyone, it's not lopsided for sure that only the PR professionals are using it, and the main stakeholders for us, the media, they are, or if you are B2C, the consumers, they are not using it. It's both sides. Now it is about offering and accepting. So from both ends, I think that is the way we are going, and now, if you have seen, since I have to bring this topic of Center of Excellence or Global Capability Center, because that is the most talked about industry now. In fact, this year's budget also, GCCs have a special space, special place for its budget. So basically, what are GCCs? They are the nerve center, the integration centers, the innovation centers for each and every business. And in fact, a lot of young crowd here, I would definitely, I'm sure maybe you all have done a lot of studies on GCCs. If you all have not, you all can do it. Each and every industry, if it's hospitality, aviation, accounting, your FMCG, name one industry who is not developing their capability centers in India. I'll tell you why I'm referring to this. And in India, in the short span of time, we have around 1900 GCCs in India have come up. Now, these GCCs are all driven by tech people on AI automation. So, do they not need communication? Yes. Do they not need to communicate to their customers through AI tools? Yes. Like for internal communication. Earlier there used to be newsletters, whether the content writer, the copywriter, they used to write the copy, then maybe we as head of department, we used to review it, we used to rewrite or tweak it or edit it, and then it used to go for proofreading, and then the graphic designer had to design it. Now things have become so easy. You have applications like Banana Tag, like a staff base, through which you just write the copy there, put the photographs there, and go to your email where you have already installed it and just disseminate it. It has really become very easy. So it has evolved, and I would say evolved for good. And all the tools now, as I said earlier, we have to really see how intelligently we use the tools, but the tools are offering, I would say, ease of doing your work. Yes, I think to an extent it makes the users a bit lazy for sure, because many times you use them but you don't go for a verification, validation of it. So if you see, whenever you're using any AI tool or a draft, you would find a disclaimer that do your fact checks because it can be wrong. And that there at times we become little complacent, we don't go for the fact checks. So that is very essential. Use it. But honestly, I would say that after you use the tool, for whatever content it is, or whatever, even image creation it is, like Canva or other tools, do use your humane intelligence to review it. Otherwise, at a point, don't you feel, tell me how many people, tell me honestly, when you read AI generated copy and absolutely human written copy, you can make out the difference. Yeah, yes, you can. So a bit of the trick of the trade I'll give you. After doing that, you have the main content with you, with good English, prowess and everything, brevity, everything is there. Use your style into that, edit it, and then use it for take it for the final use. So there, a personal touch will be there, where it would be sounding like, okay, so like, how people author their book. So okay, this sort of writing, it comes from so-and-so author. So that becomes very, very important. 2023, I guess, one, I don't want to name it, sports magazine, they were definitely implicated because it came out in the public that they were continuously using content generated through AI, not even doing the fact checks and not even taking the ground reality into consideration. So something like that can go wrong. Also, as we know about, the that fiasco about Amazon where a certain political party, about 30 of them, when it came to the mug shots of criminals, those party people's photo came out and it was a huge legal uproar. So these things can happen when the human intelligence is not there. And we have to remember one thing. Ultimately, who is making those tools happen? Who are the creators? People. They do the coding, right? So ultimately, we are creating Frankenstein if we think it to be, if we cannot use it properly. So we are using it. So why should an AI tool overpower us? It should just work where we command and how we command. So that is how things have evolved, days have evolved. We have to accept it, but we have to keep these things in mind.
So I think, Anandita, you have shared so many important things that students should keep in mind. But like, as we're talking about the students, so like currently when like if they're using it in their student life, that's fine, but not exactly fine, but yeah, when it comes to professional environment, it's more challenging. And so how they can use AI and automation in their professional life more responsibly?
So I think responsibility and ownership is very individualistic, and people have to know that, when they are coming in any professional enterprise, the key is that you are building through connections and relations, and eventually some of the best, say, campaigns and all, AI can help you just structure it, but the main concept, there has to be something like isko laga liya to live jinda lala. So I'm saying these are concepts that only a human will be able to bring on the table. This is something which an AI will never understand. And the conversations that I'm having with the client is something that only I know end of the day, that what exactly he or she wants, right? That AI will not be able to understand. So we constantly know that it's all being fed on biases, right? If there is some bias that is already there for any kind of a prompt that has already gone haywire, it will always remain so. So, the point is that in today's scenario where even our attention spans have gone very low, we are also just feeding on very, like I should say popcorn content, itne minutes ka we can watch the content. But the fact is that, how do we also expand our horizon and actually look at, I think our reliance, to be honest, is going to go more there only when we stop reading ourselves or when we stop thinking. And the day we do that, then we can only say that our job is because of AI. But, if we really have to hold the fort ourselves, then we have to know that we also need to do the job.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are all very well aware of the Delhi traffic situations, but joining us on stage to complete the panel, please put your hands together for the independent consultant, Mr. Abhi Mahapatra.
Sorry for being late. I am sure I can better use AI to be on time for next time.
AI didn't help this time.
You came like that AI revolution. We were the traditional form going on, now you came. Only thing is that, we have missed you and we've discussed quite a bit. So maybe the expert comment should come from you.
We gave the wrong prompt, actually.
Well, look, I have always believed that more than AI being a disruptor, I think it's an enabler for communications. The key skill sets that students like you all and, of course, students like us will need is more of skills that are human skills, courage, compassion, communication. I'm not sure AI can play a much role in that outside of giving us options and we becoming decision makers. The decisions will always lie at human end is what my firm belief is. AI will enable us to provide with more options, more solutions, more tools to become more efficient. But I think overall, I think this has been the debate when internet came in. Will it take away the jobs and will it make us lazy? I think it made us more efficient. So similarly, we are in that transition, that kind of a point where the evolution will commence from introduction of new technologies, including AI.
So I think you have stated the power that comes with AI and automation. We were discussing like how can students use it more responsibly in their professional career and environment.
I feel with every technology, the responsibility always is in our hands. It's like the age of innovation always offers us two paths. One that you can use positively and one you can use negatively. Ethically, with integrity, all those actions again are, human skills and characters which cannot be completely taught. So those things will lie in our hands. Students, from a point of view of where they are starting, I think it is important for them to understand that it's like the old world plagiarism. How much can we be guided with offerings that are given to us, and how much is our own original creativity? That will always remain in your hands.
See, I would like to add to it. As a professional, what do we look at while we are working on something? We are looking at absolutely, efficiency and accuracy. And on both the accounts, AI can be a big boon. Both enablers, like coming to real time, as we were saying, and as you said, how they would responsibly use it, especially for social media. That is too real time. So whenever you're posting something, you can immediately know, or from the posts of your peer group or other professionals, or as a case study, or learning from a wrong post which got trolled a lot. How responsibly can you use it? So for crisis communication, we can use it in a very, I would say very efficiently, because we immediately come to know about the sentiments which are going on. So how we can tweak it, if it is negative, how to tone it down, how to deal with it, and if it is being appreciated, how to encash on that. So we are getting a very real-time review. So all these are all possible because of the technological boom which has come. So people, at least the young people, I think even while young people, many people go wrong, we go wrong, many seasoned politicians go wrong, bureaucrats go wrong. We know about extremely disastrous comment which went out by a very, very senior corporate honcho. To all is human, it can happen. So I think the youngsters of today, they should learn from the mistakes what people are doing while using the digital platforms or the AI tools, and keep a note of that, not just read and forget it, but that when their time comes to use it, they do it very judiciously, prudently.
So like in today's time, upskilling is a need of an hour. So to gain a long-term success in the communication industry, I think I want to know your views on what are the most valuable skills students should learn to sustain more, while balancing the use of AI and automation and the other technological tools. So we'll start with Abhi.
Yeah, I was just reading somewhere, I think CNBC had this study out which talks about how there's an end of knowledge economy and the ushering of innovation economy. And this transition is actually led by AI. And they were talking about global workforce reduction. They were talking about more skills that will be required. I think this question can be answered through the lens of that transition that is happening globally, including in our industry, from knowledge to innovation. But I have some very core fundamental kind of points. Skills can be taught, character cannot be built by others. And no matter what skills you need to learn, you can always apply those sensibilities to learn those skills. But the core fundamentals of courage, compassion, hard work, those are inherent. Of course, you can go back and see, like MIT has a great course on AI, which I would recommend strongly for all the students here. It's an 18-month long course, but it's amazingly good. It teaches you everything about AI, LLM, and all of machine learning, all of those things to be used in your day-to-day. It is not for geeks and coders and all of that. It is for communicators, marketeers. So it's a great course. So those kind of, the ability to keep yourself open for learning is a skill itself. Sometimes I can talk about myself, like sometimes I get too closed about new things to be learned. And we are all from a generation where we have moved from STD booths to Insta chats, postal letters to internet emails, and so on and so forth. So we have seen those transitions over time in our career and lives. I think it's not very difficult to adapt, but we have to have the openness to adapt.
So, Pooja, would you like to share your views?
I think it's always the softer skills that are required to sail through, whether it's resilience, whether it's connection. Today you see that, people struggle having conversations with each other, so we may have so many digital, platforms, but still we're struggling. We struggle listening to people. We don't want to listen to people. We are like half-heartedly there, and half time we're on Instagram. So, these are the aspects which are definitely creating a deficiency in the way ahead for us. So if we are what happens like this is that even in client meetings, we are not attentively listening. So attention, that is very important, whether it is attention to detail, whether it is attention to listening, attention to everything, attention to just being present where you are. Sometimes we're just sitting and we're like half the time we're not even physically, we're just physically there, but mentally we're somewhere else only. So, it's always those aspects that, and then we can blame it on anything else. We can blame it on AI, we can blame it on XYZ, tomorrow something else will come up. So, but the fact is that how do we want to sail through is in our hands. So, I think the main thing is that how hungry are you for your own success? That's very important, because if you take yourself seriously, that's when, everybody else will also take you seriously. So, I think those are the traits which really make you or they break you. So I think that's what is important.
I think that's a great advice.
See, as Abhi said, there are beautiful courses now which has come up by many management institutes. As I come from Hyderabad, ISB has some good courses. Some IIMs have good courses. It's up to you. Have to select exactly what is required for you. Whether you want to go for generative AI, whether you are into designing, so which is that course you have to take. If you want to go for content specific, or if you're into advertisement, so which part of AI would be useful for you? Also the cost factor, because most of these are quite, I would say, high net worth courses, so it should suit your pocket also. But end of the day, it is an investment. Again, you have no way but you have to go with technological advancement, and not technological advancements as we have at our home. As I tell my sons, we are extremely technological enabled, because from one room to other room, my son sends me a WhatsApp message and I respond to it. And even to say, please come here, from the first floor to my the second floor, I say, Abhiraj, can you please come down? So that is not the technological advancement I'm talking about. But yes, you have to see which suits your bill. And again, openness to learn. Like, I have never worked in the tech quote-unquote industry. I work in GCC now. I have never done that before. I was extremely scared, a bit apprehensive, even with
after 3 decades of experience in communication, because I was more worried whether that industry I can adapt, I can learn, or whether that industry would accept me. So I forgot that what is my core strength. And they, see, for like, you know, there are many companies when they hire, I don't know whether you will agree to it, if you are an automobile industry, you would only want someone who has that background. I feel that if you are a communication professional, if you know your subject well, you just need a bit of time to adjust and learn the industry, otherwise it is not a rocket science. So it is just how you adapt it. You have to adapt technology. You must do some courses for sure on technology, on AI, on Gen AI, on whatever tools you use, but you have to learn and execute that.
Okay, so I'll just quickly take the last question as our times is up. So we, all the people present here are aware of Gemini and the ChatGPT. So I would like each one of you to share one lesser known tool that young professional can leverage and while maintaining that human touch in their work.
Look, the fact that people know Gemini and ChatGPT itself says that how poor we are in content generation. So I think Jasper is a great tool. Brandwatch is amazing for sentiment analysis. People don't use it very often. We go to a third-party research and measurement analytical tool firm, and they give us the analytics, but you can use it on your own, Brandwatch, and you can actually put your story out there, and the Brandwatch AI tool will tell you the sentiment of it. There's something called e4m. That's another tool, great AI tool, not known, but doing some amazing stuff. Synthesia. So we have been using this for some time. That's another great self-help tool for AI. We all know of Canva.
For images, it's
for images. We know of Canva. How much you guys use it, I don't know, but you should start to look at these 3-4 kind of. I found those things very useful.
It also depends on whether your company, they give you the access for it. Not all company, like for our company, we have only access for Copilot, Microsoft. We don't have for Gemini AI or other Jasper and all. So it again depends on that. But yes, you can definitely explore all these tools. It again, I think it also, you need to see what is that pitch for you, you need to use, and what is your industry, and which is that form of English. Is it too English, or you want a bit of tech touch to it? So it all depends what is your industry and what type of content, what is the style of writing you want, and then you can use, and you can use other options also.
I would say go back to your roots. Please read newspapers. I think that's important. Do your media rounds. That's important. While they have, of course, covered most of the tools and all. But I'm saying that, let's not lose touch with that. These are just enablers. But the main thing is that you'll have to be curious yourself to learn it. I think that's more important.
Absolutely. So I think all the panelists have shared some great insights with us. And I think students, you must have took the notes about the knowledge they have shared with us. So thank you so much.
Take the notes, put it on Gemini AI, and then
Actually, you should all go and verify whatever we said is right, or we have just blabbered some stuff. But on a serious note, like I think there are great tools which we did not have access while we were growing up.
we hardly had access to it.
Exactly. There are great tools even today when we don't have access.
Use the newspapers as
So if you want to tell a story and build a narrative, like use those tools. Synthesia is great for video AI generation. And of course the other ones that are in your pocket, which is on your phone. But yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Also, a big blame on the Terminator movies, along with Arnold Schwarzenegger, for making humans believe that AI is going to destroy us. We shouldn't be scared to embrace it. With the same, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause to this panel for sharing their insights. Could I please request you all to kindly come forward and join us for a quick picture? Also requesting the Lady of the Hour, Associate Director at Exchange for Media, Ms. Priyanka Bhadoria, to kindly join us on the stage to present the token of appreciation. Let's welcome the lady with a big round of applause.
We can't get better. All the photos are there. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Time for a quick energizer. Once again, requesting everyone to kindly empty out their hands and stand for the next 30 seconds. All right. First and foremost, we take a deep breath, hold it for 5 seconds, and then we release it, right? Take a deep breath. Release it. And now let's clap our hands together for the next 30 seconds to wake our brains up and get back into the action. Fantastic, fantastic. For all those who are wondering, when we clap our hands together, it prompts the blood circulation, helps you get more oxygen. That helps you focus better. तो थोड़ा जोरदार तालियां हम बजा सकते हैं. Fantastic. Thank you very much. You all may kindly be seated. Thank you. Thank you. And now that we are all ready and set, we are now headed towards the next masterclass. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us on stage to share his insights on overview of crisis communication is the chairman at August 1 Partners LLP. Please put your hands together for Mr. N.S. Rajan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Is this audible? Okay. So good evening. I think a lot of you must have had a great couple of sessions earlier. This could possibly be a little more dry, but crisis is probably very important in PR professionals' life. Crisis, like any individual, organizations go through crisis. I'll take you through a very brief overview of the crisis. Obviously, 20 minutes is something which you can't get into too deeply, but I'll take you through the broad parameters which you look for. Yeah. One sec. Yeah. So typically, this is normally the attitude of everybody, even in individual life. You assume that, how many of you have taken life insurance? Anybody here? Yeah, maybe just 2 out of so many people. Now this is typically, I think, preparedness. Most corporates in India, I have seen, they're not very well prepared for crisis, so when it happens, they get hit very badly. Multinationals have far more rigorous protocols for communications, crisis. So typically this is the attitude, we will be fine, nothing will happen to us. But the question is, what happens if it does? This is Warren Buffett, the sage of Idaho. I don't know how many of you are aware of him. He's supposed to be the world's most intelligent and the biggest investor. He runs Hathaway Partners. It takes 20 years to build a reputation. and 5 years to ruin it. If you think about that, you will do things differently. This is a very wise thing because, organizations are built over years, but reputation can go overnight if some big mishap happens. So when crisis hits, what are the tasks you have to do? Typically, normally, every organization has a crisis protocol, which lists down, for various crises. Something could be a very small, minor crisis, which is settled at the district level, at the branch level, maybe even at the individual level. But there are some crises which needs to go back to the head office or many times to the CEO himself. So, it's very important to understand what is the, how do we define various forms of crisis and what is the escalation levels? Who informs whom? So there are here also clear protocols in terms of how the channel of communication reaches it to the CEO and sometimes to the board. So what are the tasks of the various people who are part of the communication team? Distribution of tasks. How do we communicate internally? Now this is very critical. When a crisis happens, communication is the most important part, right? How do we communicate externally? That's a bigger part because now you don't have too much of a choice because by the time a crisis happens, the social media or the wire services or even the TV channels have already got hold of it. So how do you communicate externally? So this is typically the most important part. How and why did it happen? Now the important thing here is you might make some holistic statement, but you can't be very specific till the full investigation is completed. The next question most media and others ask you is who's to be blamed? What happened and why did it happen? And then the next question is if it happened, could it have been prevented? What if you had done X, Y, Z, then could it have been prevented? So the three what's in crisis communication is what happened? It could be environment pollution, it could be a posh case, sexual abuse, sexual harassment, it could be income tax raid on your organization, it could be insider trading, it could be any of the hundreds of reasons. But it's important to know what happened and whom does it affect and which stakeholders does it affect. The important next question is what have you done so far to mitigate that, right? Now it's very important to understand what are the limitations in terms of what you can say, which I'll come to in the next slide. And the next question is what steps have you taken to further mitigate it or further reduce the damage, or what steps have you taken to ensure that it doesn't happen again? So this is what the stakeholders and the public want to know. Of course, when you say public, it means wide variety of publics, including television, including tweeters, social media, influencers, everybody. So, you need to have a clarity in terms of the start and end of crisis event. How did the crisis start? Has it ended or is still continuing? What is the nature of the incident? Was it a fire? Was it an explosion? Was it an emission? Was it a CEO resignation? Was it a lawsuit against the company? Was it a fraud? Was it a cyber attack? There could be many others. I mean, I've just put some 5 or 6, but there could be 100 other reasons for this. Now, the next question is, how did it happen? Cause if known. Who is affected? What are the kind of people who are affected? Is it the employees? Is it the, the society? Is it the nation? Is it the shareholders? Is it the common man? Injuries, casualties. Has there been injuries? Has there been casualties? Has there been damages? How have they been, how many of them, how have they been treated? What treatment have you given to them? What is the threat to residents around, if it's environment or fire or community? Other damages like litigation. Somebody can litigate against you. They can go into court against you. This happened, let's say, there was a litigation against Adani recently. So, what do you do about it? damages. People sue you for damages, and that could be big damages. Then it can affect the very foundation of the company. The next question is, what is the impact of the crisis on business and stakeholders? Because some crisis can actually ruin you. It can completely result in the end of the company, right? If the damages or the litigation is huge. What are you doing to solve the problem? Will it be solved, and how are you planning to solve? What is the time frame for it? Again, what steps have you taken or will you take to ensure that this won't happen again? This is typically any board director would ask you, okay, this has happened. How do you ensure that this will not happen again? So prerequisites of a good crisis communication plan. Fast communication essential in a crisis. See, it's very important that people will get in touch with you, and if you don't have adequate information, then they're going to, speculate, and they are going to write. So, for instance, if there is a fire, I think the important thing is within minutes of the fire, you need to put out a statement confirming that there was a fire. Now, the next thing is you can say that it has affected XYZ part of the plant or the office. If it is a plant, you can say that it affected the stockyard, it affected some machinery. Okay, you need not give any details of the casualties and all, and just say that, we confirm that there is a fire, we are the fire department is investigating, we are looking into it, we'll come back to you. But at least you're holding all speculation by saying this. Speak with one voice. It's absolutely essential in a crisis communications that one person handles the entire external communications or even internal communications, because the moment multiple people talk, there can be a cacophony and there can be a mix-up in terms of the smoke signals which are emitted. The other thing is publish only authenticated figures. If you are sure about it, say it. If you are not sure about it, you are at liberty to say within that 5, 10, 15 minutes, look, I don't know, I need to check. I mean, people understand that. I mean, if a fire happens and if the fire is still raging and if the fire engines are, fighting the fire, you don't have to say how many people are inside, how many got injured, how many were burnt, how many were killed. You don't have to say that. You can say, look, there is a fire, there are some people inside, we don't know, we are checking. The important thing is to take responsibility. You can't be abdicating responsibility. You need to come across as a good corporate citizen. And the most important thing is, while honestly you may be stalling the media, you don't want to give any information. But at the same time, you need to appear that you are trying to be helpful to them and you are trying to be nice with them and you are also cooperating with them. Tools for communication, state only proven facts. Do not speculate ever. Please don't say, I think this is what happened. You have to stick to facts. Respect and be mindful of regulatory laws and rules. For instance, if there is a fire, you cannot speculate on the cause of the fire. That is not your job. That is the job of the fire department. Please understand regulation. Okay? The fire department will determine what is the thing. Similarly, if there is a sexual harassment case, it is the POSH committee which will decide whether the accused is guilty or not. You cannot be, as a spokesperson, you cannot be deciding on that. You can only say that this matter is with the POSH committee, they will decide. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Never name victims or affected people. Don't talk about the names, it's not good. If you see that's the standard rule, if there is a victim, you don't talk about the names and all that. You just say 3 people died, they are employees, we are taking good care of them. Be precise. Brevity is very critical. You don't have to go into big prose, you don't have to write essays on it. It can be a 1-line, it can be a 2-line statement. That's it. The most important thing is you need to be confident. You need to come across as confident. You need to give the impression that you have the entire incident under control. You can't be nervous out there in front of hundreds of media. And especially there are international media. If it's a big incident, then obviously there are a host of media, host of them speculating. The other thing is people will cast aspersions. They will put words in your mouth. Now it's very important to actually deny those and say those are untrue, right? The moment they say anything and if you don't answer back, then it is assumed that what they are saying is true. So you need to deny any of those assertions. The most important thing is be sensitive to local traditions and practices. The practices in a particular region, in a particular district, in a particular city, in a particular country, they are all very important. So if a Japanese company comes here, they need to understand the Indian culture. And if they go to Chennai, they need to understand the culture of Chennai. If they go to Bangalore, they need to understand that. They can't be talking the same way as they talk in Delhi or maybe Bombay. Right? So there are regional nuances you need to be aware of and you need to communicate so that no sensitivities are hurt. Show compassion when human casualty or physical damage is involved. You have to appear sorry. You have to appear that you are trying your best to mitigate the problems of the family. You have to make it appear that you are trying to help them in every way in their hour of grief. So again, go back to state the 3 whats, what happened, how it happened, and what are you going to do to help mitigate the future. Caution against speculation on causes of blame. This I said before, this is very, very important in a crisis. The other important thing is draw support from authorities, government, academics, professional, key opinion leaders, independent third parties, especially when it comes to complicated things like, let's say, environment pollution and host of other areas where the public opinion is very important, academic opinion is very important. You need to ensure that they are along with you. You have to go and talk to them. Of course, these kind of crises are more long term, right? A fire might happen in one day and I might set at the end of 3 days. But some of these environment pollution and all can go on for weeks and months. It's very important to get these people to support your thoughts. Social media challenges. Now this is something where, honestly, social media is on its own trip. There is nil chance of lifting the wheel. There are people who can write under pseudonyms. They can write under different, names and different figures. Now, you never know where the anonymous attack is coming from. And there are, of course, political issues here. A lot of times things become political also. Then it complicates matters the moment a matter becomes political. What is stays on social media stays forever. So you need to be very careful what you say. I don't know if you guys are aware of the Subramaniam episode, the L&T chairman. Recently he said, I work 90 hours, I want everybody to work 90 hours. It caught the media by storm, social media went to town. And you can't take it back. So, one needs to be very careful what one says in social media. Engagement versus confrontation. Now, this is typical. I remember, I think there was an incident of the Ola CEO talking about talking against some influencer. He just tore him to bits. The point here is you can't win a battle. You will have to engage with him. Bloggers, by the way, do not carry pure messages. The focus is more on experientials, reviews of products, places, etc. So you need to be mindful of what you can do with a blogger or an influencer. Unlike traditional media, bloggers do not follow set protocols or can be managed through an organizational hierarchy. So don't even try any of these things. You need to engage, you need to talk to them, you need to explain to them, you need to make them understand your point of view. How can a crisis affect a corporate? There have been several research done all over the world. I picked this up from one of the big research. Companies judged to have responded inadequately. Their stock value fell 15 to 30% in the following months. Companies which managed an effective response against an average, they rose 5 to 15% over the same period of time of about 2 to 3 months. So that shows very clearly that the stock market does value how you mitigate a crisis. So I come to my last slide, how an organization responds to a crisis actually has far more greater impact on the ultimate damage to its reputation and the bottom line than the crisis itself. Sometimes actually people make the crisis bigger than what it is. Thank you. Any questions? I'm happy to take. I have only 20 minutes, so I thought I'll make it very crisp. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them. Done? Okay. Oh, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now open for questions and answers. In case you have any questions related to this particular session, please kindly simply raise your hand and we shall pass on a mic to you.
Looks like everybody's overwhelmed. Thank you so much.
Thank
Great.
you. Could I please request you to join me in the center of the stage?
We'd like to present a small token of appreciation on our behalf for your valuable insights and for your time. Thank you for joining us. For the same, requesting Ms. Shipra Biswas to kindly join us on the stage and do the honors.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And with this, we are headed towards the last masterclass of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, to share his insights and to tell you what it is to be a communicator in the 21st century, joining us on stage is the founding managing partner at e4m. Please put your hands together for Mr. Ashwini Singla.
Hi, can you hear me? All right. To be the last session of the day is extremely challenging. You're bored out of your socks. You've heard people from morning to the evening, so you've got gyan flowing out of your ears. So I'm not going to waste my time trying to tell you something that you already don't know. All right? Just give you a little background so you understand who you're talking to, and then I'll get to tell you how we'll run the next 20 minutes for you. Right? I was the founder of Genesis, which is now called Burson Master. I ran the Asia Pacific region for them. Then I was Asia MD for PSB, which is a niche consulting firm. It runs Fortune 100 CEOs as its clients. I ran Mr. Modi's campaign in 2012. Now I run my own consulting firm called e4m. And I also am the founder of Impact, which is India's largest media intelligence company. I have 30 years in public relations and communications that you can value and gain from in the next 20 minutes, which is impossible, right? And what you heard from Rajan is actually pure gold. But you'll need years of work in public relations to get even 5% of what Rajan said. So I'm not going to bore you by giving you some gyan about public relations that you won't take back home. So here's what we're going to do. We've got a bunch of tables here, right? I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask me one question per table that you're dying to ask, which is the most relevant question for you, which you will find useful to take back from this session. Any question about your career, about the work, about skills, whatever you want to know, one question that you're searching an answer to, that you're afraid to ask, or you want to ask, or you desire to ask from anybody that may have the knowledge to know, I'll try to answer that question for you. All right? Good to go? I can't hear you. Yes, sir. You had lunch? Yes, sir. I haven't had lunch. All right? So, all right, question. So raise your hand, one table, I'll get the mic to you, and we can ask the question. I'll try to find you the answer. All right? This is going to be a conversation, not a monologue. 20 minutes spent in having a conversation that's important and relevant to you. All right, what's your question?
So if I am running a campaign for Prime Minister Modi, so what kind of skills do I need, you feel?
Right. All right, first of all, when you think about running a program of that nature, right? We're talking about a population that votes. What do you think is the voting population of this country? 60%. What is the voting population of this country? Any guess? 850 million. 85 crores. Of which 64% turned out. Right? So the first and foremost idea that I want to build on in trying to answer that question is for you to understand, for any program to be successful, you've got to first understand who your audience is. A lot of people keep asking about digital, AI, press, media, and I keep asking this one simple question. Who do you want to address? If you don't know who you want to address, how do you know what you want to say? Right? I can come and talk to you about crisis communication. And I want to ask this question. Raise your hand. How many people in this room want to be crisis communicators? How many people in this room want to be crisis communicators? So I'm addressing less than 1% of the population. That's my point. The point is not to diswrite the session. What you heard from Rajan is pure gold, okay? What is important to understand is for a public relations practitioner or a communicator in the 21st century or any other century, the first and foremost skill that you need to acquire is the ability to understand the attitudes, beliefs, and makeup of your audiences. If you don't understand what your audiences want or who your audience is, how are you going to talk to them? Why do you call Mr. Modi the great communicator? Because he talks in the language that you want to hear, and he talks about the things that you want to hear. Right? That's the most important part. My polling, and we talk about science, right? We ran India's largest polling exercise during the campaign of 2012. That was a sample size of about 500,000 people, covering 350 constituencies. That's about 70% of the constituencies in the parliament. That's the extent of the research we undertook to understand audiences to be able to craft the narrative for our client. Got it? So first, understand the fact that audience and science forms the foundation of an effective communication program. Next question. Next question. If you don't have any questions, I'll close the session. You can go back home. Thank you very much. Yes.
So when's the best time? Yeah. So Ashwini, what do you think, when's the best time to start your own agency?
Anytime is a good time to start your own firm. To be an entrepreneur, there's no age limit. It depends on what skill you have and what you want to market and who's going to buy. There is no fundamental age limit to what you want to do to be an entrepreneur. You could have a skill set which could be very, very valuable at this point of time. So I don't think age is a constraint to entrepreneurship. All right? And this time when capital and opportunity abounds, why should you allow age to be a mitigating factor at all? I don't think you should think about age or is there a perfect time to start an agency. It depends on what is the nature of your service and what is the skill set that you're willing. Because at the end of the day, we are a professional service firm, right? What do people buy? They buy three things. They buy creativity, they buy expertise, and they buy experience. You have to divide, you have to understand what are the three things, in what combination you're selling them. If I'm running a management consulting firm, I sell expertise as number 1. I sell experience as number 2, and maybe creativity as number 3. If I'm selling an advertising firm, then creativity is number 1, expertise number 2, experience number 3. If I was selling an audit firm, experience is number 1, expertise is number 2, creativity maybe not. Creative accounting can lead to a lot of trouble. So it depends as to what's the triac combination you have if you want to be an entrepreneur. But there's no age limit to entrepreneurship. All right? Okay, next question. Yes.
So like we heard in,
Ashwini is my name.
Oh, sorry. We heard in all the sessions on how we should prepare for PR, how to enter, how to do, but we also heard very conflicting opinions. Like one of the guests said that you should be multi-talented. Other one said specialize in one skill. So if you were in our place, in your 20s again, so how would you pick? Because the options sometimes get very confusing. Like it seems a good option, but the demand can be different, and there's also a desperation to get the first job, just to land a job. So how will you deal that?
Thank you. Very, very important and a very profound question. So what's the skill set today that you need to be able to look at it? I'll give you my son's example, right? He's in the business with me. He's 31 years old. He's an ESG consultant. He's an economist, environmental economist. That's his expertise. And he said, well, Dad, I've done my master's from London School of Economics. Now I want to do an MBA. MBA takes him to a generalist. I said, look, the age of generalization is really over. The age of specialization is what you're looking at. Because if you even look at the data, there is actually a drop in the total number of admissions and applications for MBA schools. So what is it that we're looking for today? Today, the talent is what we call a T-shape requirement. In a T, what is the long stem? Is the horizontal long or the vertical long? Is the vertical long or the horizontal long? The vertical is long and the T is still there. So you need to think about what general skills that you possess, which are relevant in the larger scheme of your profession, but what's the deep specialization that you want to build? Right? Being a multidisciplinary professional is important in the 21st century skill set, but having a core specialization, which is your stock in trade, is a foundation in which you will build the future of your career. People in the next generation will look for deep specialization, not broad generalizations. Right? So yes, you need to be a T specialist. You need to have a certain set of general capabilities, but you need to build a long stem capability of your vertical T. Right? And that not necessarily, again, look, most people will tell you, well, media relations is the basic stuff of public relations. I disagree. Media relations can be very strategic, but media relations can be on a spectrum of strategy to publicity. If you're a publicist, you're penny wise. You're a strategist, you're dollar wise. So you have to decide what's the spectrum of capability that you're building. So that would be my sense to you, that think about the generalization that you want to build, but also focus on the specialization that you're going to be able to build as your core competence over a period of the next decade or two as you start to build your career. Make sense? How many people agree or disagree? You agree? You agree? That's great. Then, all right, raise your hand and show me you agree. All right, well done. Next question then. All right, yeah, let's go.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Anupriya. Hello. Sir, with your extensive experience, could you please elaborate on how integrating scientific methodologies can improve or strengthen PR strategies or in public relations?
a subject close to my heart. I want you to turn around and look at that lady in red, sitting right behind. Hi, her name is Sharda. You know who Sharda? Sharda is a co-founder of Astrum. We worked together for the last 15 years. That's a half-life of my profession. And you know what's her designation besides being a co-founder? She is the Chief Science Officer of Astrum. What does the Chief Science Officer of Astrum do? You know what? The Chief Science Officer of Astrum is tasked of putting science in the heart of everything that we do. What is the science? The science is the trifecta of three things that you want to think about. When you think about science, there are three sciences where we look at. We look at social science. You know what is social science? How societies respond. Go back to the first question. If you want to influence mass campaigns, public service campaigns, election campaigns, or large consumer brands, you're not going to be talking to small limited audiences, you're going to talk to large segments of audiences. You need to be able to understand how people behave in collectives. That's social science. You're also going to think about the new science of neuroscience, the psychology of influence. Brains. You know your brain is wired to respond to colors, sound, sights, emotions. You know that your brain responds to words, images. Why do you feel good when you go into a coffee shop and you smell a lovely bread baking and coffee and you feel like, oh, I want to have a cup of coffee? It's actually your human brain stimulating the response of fresh coffee being brewed. That's cognitive behavior. When you understand cognitive science, you understand influence and persuasion. Right? So that's social science, neuroscience. And then you understand data science, where it comes to the rational, because your mind and your heart are two parts in why you make decisions, right? We buy water. We drink water, why? Because we're thirsty. But we make choices because of our mind, right? Bottled water versus glass water versus tap water. So our mind's always making the choices between what's rational and what's emotional. The emotional creates the affinity. So when you understand science, and that's what I go back to the first answer, when you understand your audiences, when you understand what makes them tick, you will understand how you need to be able to respond and create the narratives so you're able to create a better sense of persuasion. That's science. And if you don't put science in the heart of your communication, there's no 21st century. But incidentally, if you thought this was a new phenomena I was talking about, not really. If you look at any text, okay, which the founding fathers of our profession, and I go back a lot into the history, and I can take you back 100 years plus in this history. 1911 is when we really founded the professional public relations business. Walter Lippmann, if you remember the name, you can write it down, Walter Lippmann or Edward Bernays. These are the founding fathers of our profession. If you read their work, and in the early 1900s, you will see extensive use of research and science in creating, defining public relation programs which are based on the science of persuasion. So science, an application of science, is not new. It is the heart of our profession. And I would encourage every young communicator sitting at the cusp of a profession to please do think about studying science, or at least incorporating the use of science in your everyday work, in asking the questions about, do I understand the audiences that I'm going to be talking to? How much do I understand about them? What do I know about them? Where are they? What do they like? What do they dislike? What do they think about the subject that I'm trying to engage them with? Ask those fundamental questions. You'll be amazed how much clarity it provides you about what you need to do from a communication perspective. Then the platforms become irrelevant, whether it's digital, whether it's media, whether it's anywhere else. Those are just platforms. what's central to anything that happens in success in communication is what's your narrative. If your narrative is good, I spoke in Turkey a long while back, and I was speaking to this conference of a bunch full of scientists. And my brief there was to say, hey, these scientists do great amount of work, but they really don't know how to communicate to public about the quality of their work. And President Obama had just won his first term, and suddenly everybody was talking about digital and what he had done about digital, and everybody was talking about David Plouffe and the amazing work that digital had done. I stood there in front of the audience, and I asked the question. I said, does anybody remember what was his message? And everybody got up and put their hands up and says, change has come to America. I said, the platform isn't important. The message is. Do you know which is the most powerful vision statement ever made? It's just 2 words. Do you know which is the most powerful vision statement ever made as public relations practitioners? It's just 2 words. And it's Indian. Think. One guess. You know what it is? It's called Quit India. It was a call that the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, and everybody understood it, right? From the most intellectual to the most basic, uneducated person understood Bharat Chodo. Quit India. And that created a revolution. That's the power of simple communication, which resonates with the attitudes, beliefs, and emotions of the people. So remember, if you spend your lifetime perfecting one skill as communicator, which is to be the master of the message, you will be the most premium communicator in the world. All right? Any more question? Last, before my time runs out. Okay, we got 2 questions. We'll take that. All right.
Hi Ashwini, I'm Dr. Mukta from Sharda University. So I'm faculty to those 5 adorable PR professionals, would-be professionals. So my question is that we keep on talking about, the gap between industry and academia. So as a teacher, how could I help them? That could be one of the questions, because all the kids, they are talking about their skill set and everything. So as a teacher, what should be my skill set so that I can help them to achieve their first jobs?
Oh, well, my belief is we need to get education closer to employability, and that gap will only close if we get a lot more practical inputs into the theory. So my purpose of education has always been, and if there's one thing that I love doing, is teaching, right? And if you look at any reading that I've done, or if anything that you will read about me, you will see that in all my conversations, I bring only one thing forward. I said my greatest satisfaction has been that I was able to invent a program called the ALP program, which is called the Associate Leadership Program in Genesis, which produces the first generation of leaders of this industry. And you'll find CEO and global leaders in the PR industry who are graduates of this program. Right, Amit Prabhu, who's the coordinator of Praxis and the founder of Praxis, is the first graduating class of that program, just to give you an example of that. So talent investment is a very important investment. And I believe that from campus to corporate, to make that gap, we need to be able to root some amount of our education in the reality of our profession. Sometimes I feel the gap becomes a little bit more theoretical. So getting a lot more industry exposure to the kids is important, and getting a little bit more of time spent within the consulting world and the corporate communication world for the children or the students. Children would hardly be a valid statement. They're all adults. So with the students or potential practitioners, I would say, would be something which is very important. I welcome internships, as many as possible, so that people actually get to work on real life projects and get to see the profession at work. So yeah, Apprenticeships or internships are something that we should encourage a lot more. So I would say that, yes, of course. And Deepti, who's the CEO of PRC, and I have often spoken, and one of the things that I do believe, and that's my pet project at some point of time, that we really need to reinvent the curriculum of public relations education in this country. I think it's outdated a little bit. So it needs to be reinvented in the new reality of the profession. So we need to bring it a lot more science and in the present. And if we can do those 2-3 things, sort of reinvent the curriculum and get it a little closer to the industry, I think we'll be able to do a far better job of preparing our students to be more premium. To that extent, let me add something which is relevant to the people. The industry laments the fact that we don't pay people well. The reason people don't get the premium because they don't come out of the colleges with the skill set that demand premium. When you can create students who are prepared and well prepared to be able to create that premium, that discussion is going to become moot. My goal is to get there. That students coming out of public relations schools should be equated to the best lawyers, best chartered accountants, best doctors coming, because it is a profession. It's not a time pass. If you can invest in this industry as a profession and create career professionals with that level of rigor and discipline, you will not find the challenge of premium. And that is what is required for us to be able to create the careers. Sorry, ma'am. Make sense?
My question is around work-life balance.
Yes.
Soon we are going to enter into the industry, hope. So my question is, like, do you think work-life balance is something that realistically is something that is achievable, or is it like more of a, work-life integration?
All right. Again, a very pertinent question. So let me ask a question back again. What is the definition of work-life balance, according to you? Random answers, come on. What's the definition of work-life balance? This table. What do you think is work-life balance? Office stays in the office, all right. But if you work from home?
Then also there should be a specific time for that.
All right. So you think time. You are saying I need to qualify time. So let's look at time as a unit. Okay, so you are saying personal life and there should be time. Okay?
On the weekends, we can go out with our friends.
Weekends, days, okay?
The gap between the private life and the professional life.
Professional and personal life? Boundaries? Yes. Okay, good. What else? Toxic culture. All right. That's work-life balance or a culture issue? Right. What else? This table. Work-life balance. What is it? I want to ask this generation. What is work-life balance? You agree with whatever they said, or you got something new? All right. Let's get first fundamental choices. In a hybrid world, which is the world of tomorrow and today, right? Part work from home, part work from office, or in any other world, unit of time is an important consideration. Because we can't have 24 hours of personal life, we can't have 24 hours of professional life. Unit of time is an important qualification. But unit of time and work does not come by 9 to 5 or 5 to 9, does it? Do crisis and personal challenges come on in fixed time? कि नहीं, अगर हमको शादी करना है या बर्थडे करना है तो हम सिर्फ 6 बजे के बाद करेंगे. नहीं, हम सिर्फ पैदा होंगे 6 बजे के बाद, बिकॉज 9 से 5 में तो ऑफिस टाइम है. Life does not afford us those choices. Therefore, when you start to think about work-life balances, think about not unit of time, but think about choices. When you need to make what choice? There are times when work will come first at the cost of personal choice. But there are times when personal choices will take priority over professional choices. When you have the maturity and the sensibility to make those choices, then you will find the balance will choose yourself. Give me your example. It comes naturally. Your best friend's wedding. Best friend's wedding. Okay? What will you choose? And the most important, the biggest client's most important function. What will you choose?
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Okay, let me say, if I was in your choice, I'd choose my best friend's wedding, and I'll make sure that my client's work did not suffer. I'll make sure first I put everything in order before I get it. So when you think about choices are, at the same time, if it was your friend's, best friend's, third friend's wedding, I don't think I would be choosing that wedding to go to. I'd choose my client. So it's just an example. As long as we discharge our professional responsibilities and make the choices when we do need to make the choices, life's fine. No organization, at least in my principle since the time I have worked, I've always paid premium to flexibility. And the more flexible we are, and I have found, here's a great example of Sharda and many other. It's a fact that 65% to 70% of people professionals who work in public relations happen to be women. You will have marriages, just as men will. You will have children. But unfortunately, the rules in society put a gender premium on women taking greater role in homes. That's a different debate altogether. I agree or don't agree, doesn't matter, but that's a reality that you face with every single day, and that's a fight. We don't put that fight. We simply say, it's a choice you need to make, and we are comfortable with the choice. If you need to make those choices, work from anywhere. It doesn't really matter. So, work-life balance is fundamentally important to anything that you do. In life, proportion is important, right? So make the choices, not go by units of time, but go by units of choices. When you make the smart choices, you will all be happy and you will be able to do all of these things that you said. Weekends, weekdays, doesn't matter. All right? Okay, well, this was a great conversation. I hope it was meaningful. Right? So thank you very much for your time. Lovely being in conversation with you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you very much. Mr. Singla, if I can request you to kindly join me in the center of the stage. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's drum up a very enthusiastic cheer for a super interactive and productive session. Let's give it up for the gentleman. To present a small token of appreciation on our behalf for your valuable time and your insights, joining us on stage is Mr. Faisal Ali from Exchange for Media. Talk about the discrimination, welcoming a gentleman on the stage without the applause. Well, that's something. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Once again, here's hoping that you all had a stellar time here at the first edition of PR Masterclass Exchange for Media. On behalf of Exchange for Media, I must encourage everyone, in case you're planning on posting any pictures, videos, or comments related to any moment of this event across any of your social media platforms, please do not forget to use the hashtag E4m. PR Masterclass. With the same, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to pick your poison. Requesting everyone to join us outside for tea, coffee break. Requesting everyone to kindly join us back in the hall at sharp 6:15 p.m. for the next session, for the next segment to commence. With the same, thank you very much for joining us. Please enjoy your time.